been many traditional ways to celebrate Christmas. Celebrate. There have been many traditional ways to celebrate Christmas.
Chill.
Merry Christmas, everybody. It's VFX and Chill. I'm Seth Worley. With me, as always, is Daniel Hashi Hashimoto and Michael Zalapsky. Guys, how are you today?
Oh, doing just fine.
Wow.
Feeling super.
I love when I come in with huge energy and then Skype gives us just dead pause and deep breaths. I said Merry Christmas, but I also want to clarify Happy Holidays to everybody, no matter what you celebrate. We are excited today to be talking about our Lord Jesus Christ. No, we're excited today to be
About a man.
to be talking not far off to be talking about America's Jesus Christ, Superman himself. There's a new trailer that just came out yesterday, and it's pretty cool. How do you guys feel about it?
I mean, at first, I started watching it. I was like, oh, it's it's a Superman thing. Oh, but he's injured. Oh, there's a dog, and then it just got way better from there. Like it was like I went from ho hum to like, oh, I'm actually excited about this.
We should probably just
like
jump right into
a couple
it.
of seconds.
Yeah. So there is a dog, and let's just go ahead and let's real quick. We're gonna talk about the dog. Where is it? There it is. Here it comes.
Just skipping around.
It begins. A dog begins. So first off, what's the name of this dog? I forgot the name of this dog.
Bolt.
Crypto.
Crypto.
Definitely crypto.
Bolt. Oh my God. That's on a list of movies that I had to watch repeatedly with my children that I didn't love. Look at all this stuff.
Yeah,
There's
he's named after Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All these people waiting for crypto to save them. It's not gonna.
And you got Luther saying, "Witness me."
That chat is ready for crypto, which the chat thing is not showing up, Seth.
The chat thing's not showing up? It should be. Oh.
I'll fix it.
It was showing up earlier.
Mickey 17 can throw the back of the head.
Justin the Duck says Superman VFX, like face swapping the Superman actor's face with Seth's because they share the same bod.
I don't have a drop that says yes. So just pretend that I used it. All right. So
I do have
Alonso
that other
says
clip.
there's no sound.
That's just the VFXs.
yeah, I'm running it right now.
Look at it. Perfect. So here's a little slight cut down with a couple of repeats of some of the cool shots in this. So that one's the wildest one. That's the one that I'm seeing all over social of people being like, what's real? How did they film it? Like, what is the blah, 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 blah. But of course, the top thing is like, 2 actors on a green screen and a bunch of nerds.
Yeah. Speaking of nerds, we got Nathan Fillion with the perfect nerd look. That's a cool shot. That I missed Superman sorry, I didn't realize before that Superman's in that shot with the dragon. Let me go back here.
He might be in that Luthor Core shot too.
Like I love this shot. He's so tiny. It's so good.
I didn't notice him until now. I'm being honest. That's amazing. Even though it cut to
him in there. It's a trailer. You don't trust cuts.
No, you can't. And is that the Daily Planet building that they show at the beginning?
Oh,
I'm just having trouble seeing. It's
what
like
that
the
is.
thing is like creating a portal around the Daily Planet logo.
Maybe so.
It's a Blade Runner Sky advertisement.
Yeah,
because it's such a weird thing otherwise. Because they showed the Daily Planet earlier in it, but that to me doesn't look necessarily like an object on a building.
That's some kind of giant like eye, like space thing. Whatever it is, I like it. And let me real quick talk about. Oh shoot! I've already forgotten her last name. Rachel. What did we figure out her name? Because I love her from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Hang on.
Handebra. Oh gosh.
I was talking before we went live. I was talking about how much I love Rachel Brosnahan.
Brosnahan. I had it backwards.
She is absolutely pitch perfect casting for Lois Lane because Margot Kidder had this like. I know this isn't like, I don't think this is a continuation of Donner's universe. It's just using the theme and et cetera. But like, I don't know that for sure. Actually, I'm sure that our audience and our chat knows. But like Margot Kidder has this like really Margot Kidder energy where it's like, she's this like almost intimidatingly, aggressively intelligent. She's a journalist, right? So like, and Rachel Brosnahan is Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, who is like
me.
Yeah.
Whoops, something happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, are we back? I hope we're back.
I think we're all good.
Alonso Perez Yaksik in the chat says, "I'm not 100% on board with Superman casting it. The dude looks exactly like Clark Kent and Superman. I don't know what more you want, man."
Yeah, but he was a jerk in Twisters.
Visually. Whatever.
You know who was a bigger jerk in Twisters? The Twisters.
The Twisters.
Yeah, you want the Twisters to play Superman? That would have been nuts.
That would have been
that's what I'll be doing today.
Casting.
That's what I'll be doing today on the show. I'll be swapping out Superman with tornadoes. So yeah, sorry, I'll click play on this. I didn't mean to go off on my Rachel Brosnahan fanboying, but
there's always time for Rachel Brosnahan talk.
So,
hey, look, a baseball field.
Oh, they're trying to copy Batman third one.
The one with Anne Hathaway.
No, yeah. This is original Superman lands a plane in the baseball field.
Right. That's right. There's some standard VFX stuff that we've done on the show before. I feel like we've done enough of it on the show before. We don't need to do.
Yeah, that's
we don't need to
go watch Cheap
one.
Tricks. That's cheap.
Yeah, your Captain Marvelous Mrs. Maisel episode has a lot of stuff like that. I like this shot, flying up through some sky.
I like that. I'm wondering if that is following the earlier shot of being engulfed in flame.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, or maybe it's a tribute to our favorite David Sedaris book, When You Are Engulfed in Flames, which is actually my favorite title of any book ever. Pretty cool looking. He's like, where is there no fire? The sky. And then...
yeah, no surprise seeing some really great, beautifully framed and thought out VFX in this thing.
But before the show started, Hash, you were saying something about this shot before the show started, though.
Oh, well, as soon as I cut to this shot, I thought it was going to like fire up the Pixies and a bunch of buildings were going to explode in the background is what it looks like to me.
There's no reason we can't do that.
The last shot of Fight Club is what I'm...
We can just take the clips from Fight Club and put a cape on him.
Perfect.
So, what calls out to you today? Well, in case it's not clear,
Gosh,
everybody, we're going to recreate
people in the chat.
VFX.
Now that we've scrubbed through some of these, do weigh in and let us know about these.
And by weighing in, meaning what should we recreate on the show today. What do you want to know how to do? Besides this, what do we want to do?
I'm sharing my screen for a second just because I wanted to remind everyone that.
This is important.
This context, James Gunn says, I've always given my VFX artist collaborators time to do their jobs properly and the respect they deserve. The quality of VFX in those films is uniformly great because of it, and because my friends at Weta and Framestore and ILM are more amazingly talented. This is why we wrapped Superman a year before release and why they're hard at work at many shots months before that. This is why we start heartily editing during the shoot. It's why I prepare vigorously and why I didn't mean to read this all out loud. Now I'm stuck.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Why we only shoot finished screenplays. And Supergirl, which I'm not directing, is being handled the same way. I can't praise the VFX artists that help us create magic enough.
It's so nice to hear a director actually...
Digital magic.
That's right, George.
It's so nice to see a director who's not trying to hide the fact that it's visual effects and gives them the credit and gives them time to do things right. Like, especially a big guy like this.
I mean, I am sure that no matter what house you work at, VFX are always going to be a time crunchy, difficult job, which is why people should call out and thank the people that have to do them. But yeah, this is impressive. I mean, Guardians 1, I know, was almost an experiment by Marvel to see how much of their production could be virtual and live in the same universe, and they knew that it was just like an arm they could cut off if it didn't work. And,
it's exciting. All right.
There are some suggestions in the chat already.
Let's hear them.
Jason Murphy wants us to create a photoreal crypto. That is a shout back. Shout back to our earlier episode from just a couple of weeks ago, where we were doing Talking Animals, and it featured a special guest called Jason Murphy. If you want to see that episode after we're done with this one, the link for it is in the chat. Lisa Sari says, thanks to the snowman exercise yesterday, we already know how to do something similar to the snow scene of Superman and Krypto. And yes, there was a very fun show that just happened yesterday.
Good to see you again, Lisa.
Snowy things. If y'all missed that one, it's quite fun.
Very fun.
I don't know where the replay of that one's at, or I'd put the link up for you.
It's somewhere.
Oh, there, I got it. Hang on. It's also in the chat. Building a snowman. That link's in the chat. It was quite fun. Artists from Perception and Maxon were working together to do snow visuals, which was quite good.
Very fun stuff was made. It's definitely watching. A lot of cool tips in there.
Yeah. Justin LeDuc's a suggestion. Crypto Snow Trail looks like a sandworm. Maybe a dune sandworm shows up instead of the dog, which is a fun VFX and chili sort of thought. And of course, then cut to Superman riding the worm, obviously. Freebie Chillbrother wants you to replace Krypto with a cat. Funnily enough, I saw an edit on that. I don't know if Seth, if you got that to show, but it was a funny edit someone made of that scene. I shared it in the Slack. Hashi might have it handy.
Oh, let's see.
Was it the image that was in the...
Yeah, that image I put in the Slack of Superman calling a cat instead of calling his dog. Rick LOL wants us to make a 3D flat Stanley. The default
from
cube
the book Flat Stanley from the series.
Yeah,
amazing.
The chat was having a whole separate discussion about that back in earlier. The default cube says, "What scene are you creating?" Yes, default cube. We're asking you what you want us to do for that. So it's up to you. Well, it's not up to you, but we're looking for suggestions, and we will take them or not, as it may be. Lisa Sari again says, when Superman pushes the snow particles, it's just like Hashi's mowing of the snow. Yes. Again, that was a very fun show. If y'all missed it, you should definitely watch it.
Yeah, it was some silliness. But some really great tips from the Perception artists who came ready to do cool stuff. It was really, really cool.
And Darren Frankovitz wants you to make the dog fat. Because, yes, that's...
Because Krypto is setting these unrealistic
body expectations. Oh, that's so good, Darren. So that's what the chat has said so far. Now I
So
I
lots
do
of
like the idea.
crypto-centric stuff.
Well, everyone loves crypto. I do want to talk about how you could make that speed trail of crypto. That shot of him running towards the camera in the very beginning in the snow. I think that's a very fun one. Hashi, I really want to see you do if you kind of work out how to do the destruction of Superman's grabbing that child and protecting them from the rain of debris, because that's something a lot of people online were talking about, was how this Superman movie has Superman actually saving people like Superman should be doing. And it was great. Like that shot resonated with me as well, when he just grabs her and protects her. Like that's so Superman-y and such a kick-ass shot that I really liked it too.
That is really
Wait,
cool.
you don't think Superman just straight up killing bad guys and killing people with blood is cool?
I mean, it's fine, but it's blah. I like the old Superman.
I almost was going to refer to the Zac Efron Superman, but that's not the right
Zac
one.
Efron
That's not the...
Superman.
Matthew,
The Efron cut?
Matthew says people don't realize that crypto is actually a velociraptor, which... And
Okay,
Darby
that
Jacinto
is
is joining in.
We could do
Raptor head
that.
on crypto, please. Yeah, that's a good suggestion for But with Raptors, for sure.
Or
Just
just
replace it with a little velociraptor that just comes and...
Or just I mean, that's the funnier version, but you could also just raptorize Superman as well. And
I'm
people
not
hate
reading
him.
this out loud, but I'm putting it on the screen for you all to enjoy this comment from Frigby. Rickolol really wants to see a 3D flat Stanley. Like they're all about it.
Why Flat Stanley?
We've had that on the show before. That's been recommended before, and I probably the same person recommending it.
And Alonso Perez wants you to replace Superman with Zac Efron.
For the Efron cut. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we can do it. If you haven't
Goodness.
seen, by the way, have I talked about it on this show? I've talked about it on my other thing. Well, if I remember the title, the wrestling movie with Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, the Iron Claw.
it's like
Iron Claw. Efron's incredible in it, and it is a absolutely tragic but at the same time sweet and wonderful movie. And people should check it out while we're talking about Efron. Anyways, Superman, we are going to be doing. That was me trying to segue, and I ended up singing it by accident. So it's like I'm a child, just like. Anyways, Superman. Clearly, I forgot my medicine this morning.
Superman.
I'm also getting a lot of lag.
Classic.
For some reason.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay. You guys aren't just awkwardly staring at me. My computer's just lagging a ton. You there?
Yeah, I am. I'm here.
Okay.
But yes,
I think there was a healthy mix of you guys awkwardly staring at me while I made terrible jokes and my computer freezing up at the same time. So
that's the VFX and chill promise.
absolutely it is. So here's what I'm thinking. We take a quick break. When we come back, we dive into some Superman shots. So we have a very short amount of time to figure out what we want to do. Okay, Hush?
Perfect.
Great.
I'm up here, you moron!
I'm gonna bash your brains in.
Give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Welcome back. If you're just joining
We're
us.
back, and we are talking Superman, the new James Gunn Superman, and we were thinking that we would maybe try to recreate some of the VFX from it. So I think that I'm going to try to do something in the vein of that ridiculous slow-mo shot. Ridiculous cool is what I mean there.
Ridiculous. And I'm going to spend the whole episode making a drop that says ridiculous. Not really. I'm probably going to work on... So what do you have over here? Look at that little dog.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that I downloaded this dog.
And now it's in all your default projects.
Well, I better save
Which
this
is very
dog.
easy to do now in Cinema 4D. You can have multiple starting projects from the home screen in the new version, which is very nice. So if there's something, if there's some way you like to start a scene, or there's 3 or 4 different kind of scenes you kind of start with the same sort of thing in it all the time, you can now have, as soon as you open Cinema 4D, it says, hey, which one of these 4 preset scenes would you like to start with? And it gives you a nice little head start.
Oh, I haven't done the multiples yet. I for a while had a
Yeah.
default project, but
Yeah, you can add a bunch of just preset project files to start with. It's in there. It's really nice and handy. There's some ones already suggested for you, and you can add your own. They're called templates, I believe is what this new start screen calls them.
let's see. Someone was mentioning this snow thing earlier today, and I'm just gonna quickly play where we ended up with this thing. This was the very goofy snowman scene of a.
Oh,
I tried
Oh,
rendering
yeah.
this out, but I
That's
didn't
cool.
realize that my displacement map moved, but my UV offset actually wasn't in sync with it, so it looked really weird.
that's
yeah,
looking
I
killer.
have,
The particles through the volume mesher came out really nice.
I have them volume meshing even to the ground. That's why it's running so slow. It's doing the whole ground too, so the snow can like cake into itself to fill in
Oh,
the
nice.
gap that it's making with the thing.
That's great.
And also,
dude.
this is this really like weird animation I have going on. It's moving his little thorax around.
Oh yeah. So that's why I'm
All right.
tantalized.
So let's close that, and I'm going to now bring in this little truck, some kind of UN truck, and
Me
I
and truck?
grab this prop.
I'm in that truck?
An untruck.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to delete the little hand cart here and give myself just these little O2 tank. Because I think that that's what those are. At first I thought they were like construction, like those like cement barrier things or something, but I think that it's an some kind of a thing. So let's see, I'll save this. And now let's arrange these. Let's throw a cloner in here. Hopefully this is just one mesh. Let me dig down into here. Oh my gosh. How complicated is this thing? Okay. Oh, weird. Okay, well, let's optimize this a little bit. Let's grab these objects, move them down. Boop. Okay. There we go. And let's reveal. Where's all the geometry from this? Just going to grab. I guess I could put the whole thing in a connect object, right? Whoops.
You could. What are you trying to do with it, and why?
I just want it to be one piece of geometry instead of all these.
Oh, you can
Separate.
run the connect and delete command.
Yeah. Does connect and delete by default weld?
No, but after you run that, you can hit UO, which is the optimized command shortcut.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Look at that. So let's see. Let me see how split up this truck is. It looked like a photogrammetry scan to me, but it actually feels. Maybe it is just a model with a texture on it. Cool. Well, that's great because I want to destroy it somehow. Let's add a ground plane and a human, meaning a figure. Okay. So,
oh yeah, size is a little off.
So, see, so what Superman was doing was actually not as impressive as we all think. It's very.
You're just protecting her from a Hot Wheels crash.
Well,
Just
okay,
look, your joke is very funny, but I'm not putting it. But that ending line is why I'm not putting it up on the screen. I'm gonna retell your joke, sans smut. I'll be happy to put that up on the screen. Michael Palak says, does anyone else always hear Sarah Douglas / Ursa from Superman 2 sing Superman every time you hear Superman? No, just me and Darren Dauterman. Joke for you,
I love jokes.
Superman fans, so humor fans.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Superman, what a cinematic history. Let's see how.
I mean, and not just film history, but a graphic novel history. Like the first Superman comic came out, before
There's a
before I
comic?
was born.
I was going for the same thing.
Because we're friends.
It came out in the 1930s. Like that's a long time for something as silly as Superman to be around for.
Speaking of a long time to be around,
Yeah.
has anyone been able to read the sticker on the corner of our episode today?
The chat hasn't mentioned it yet.
Well, chat, get your freaking act together, because today...
Let me tell you about my friend.
Let me tell you about my friend, a little guy by the name of Daniel Hashimoto, who today is XX years old. That's right.
Solve for X.
Double solve for X. I'm giving you no constants. You just have to solve the variables. This man, we love him. He's a year older today. His name's Hashi, and I prepared a little video for you. I didn't at all. I absolutely did not. You prepared an amazing birthday video for me, and your video for me was for Tiff, and it was incredible. And I did not make you a video at all because I'm terrible. But listen.
But
what I did
know
was
how to reset the scale on an object. I thought there
Well, see, because he celebrated Jesus' birthday on the 22nd.
Why?
There's a lot of birthday Hashis in the chat.
Thank you, everybody.
From Jason Murphy, Darren Frankovitz, John Birmingham, Justin Leduc, all wishing you a happy birthday, Hashi.
Aw, thanks.
And Brian
as a
Smith said, happy birthday.
present,
And
someone let me know how you reset the scale on something. I thought that there was a reset scale.
There's a reset
command.
transform command.
Yeah, it's in the commander. Do the commander thing.
Well, how come it doesn't come up when you type the word reset?
That's not what it is.
It should reset transform should be a command that comes up when you search for it.
I always type transform.
Like
or
I want
like
to.
that.
Do I need to freeze it first and then?
What exactly are you trying to do?
I just want this oxygen tank to be the right size because if I put it in a cloner, it was making it. Oh wait. Maybe
Put it in a null object first. Put it in a null object first. That's what the problem is.
Why?
So because transforms of an object are not reflected in the cloner. So put it. Stop what you're doing. Make a new null object.
I know. Oops.
Put that in the null object without the null object being transformed. There you go.
Ooh.
It works that way for a reason.
No, I know. How many do we want? All right, so yeah, I'm putting a bunch of O2 tanks in this little cloner here. Gonna fill up this cart responsibly. Say like here and
while you're working that out, Buster Barnes says that they thought all the visuals and effects in the trailer looked great. I think a lot of people who are hating on it online were just haters before the trailer even ran. Yeah, I agree. The trailer, we loved it. Thought it looked great, and yeah, you're correct. Michael Palak wants it to be a red Christmas truck with green tanks instead of having a tree, or a green truck and red tanks since you've already got red tanks. But
can't do that to a colorblind guy on his birthday. We're gonna stick with these Christmas colors. All right, bigger plane and okay. The action in that really feels just like it's almost just the flesh of the kaiju's toe spreading out. It's wild. Like it doesn't feel like it's a step of it. It just looks like you can see the. Anyway, very cool. It just looks like like when you like step down and like the skin kind of just spreads out from the weight.
Yeah.
Like that's what it looks like is happening to the car right at that moment because like the toes are already planted. Let me see.
Josiah says, "Are you making a scene from the trailer with Superman saves a little girl?" Yes, Josiah. That is what Hashi is currently working on. I don't actually know if Seth is working on anything right now, but that is what Hashi is currently working on.
I mean, I'm working on something.
So I'm going to add a little bit of a maybe a random effector just to.
Yeah, a little bit, just a tiny bit of X and Z randomness would be good, I think, and of course rotation fully.
Yeah, so let's turn that down to like maybe 5 rotation. Whoops, wrong rotation there.
100% always do.
So here's
There
what
you
we're
go.
doing.
That
So
truck is
yeah,
full-
so like
full to the brim.
5 centimeters worth of wobbliness that kind of loaded it up like that. The other really fun thing you could do is Sorry, I just heard a sound that sounded like disconnecting, but we're here,
no,
right?
that's you.
We're
I think taking a screenshot.
Whoops. Oh, I was trying to save. All right. Oh yeah. So the random effector added some a bit of X and Y, and then translating the what is H heading?
H is heading, yes.
All right. Turn that up to
Pitch-
180 so it
Pitch,
can
bank, and heading.
rotate like that. And then what are we going to do next? Let's.
Oh, hey, Stefan Caretti is in the chat. VFX
Stefan,
supervisor on
Are
Superman.
you kidding me?
Hey, Stefan.
What the heck?
Welcome.
Stefan. Happy holidays to you. Thanks for joining in. We
Yes,
love it.
absolutely. Happy holidays.
And we
I
very much
had-
love your show.
I have you pulled up here so we could talk about you during the show. 'Cause I'm a stalker.
Perfect. So, just what you'll do
So
now is
currently
just
in the chat, if
confirm
you
in
have
the
any
chat
questions.
what's correct on your
Gosh.
IMDb page. Here we go.
Well,
Starting with
welcome. We're honored. We got to have you on to talk about this.
we really should have thought about reaching out to people and asking if they wanted. But I mean, I guess people can't really. They're all on NDAs. The movie's not out yet. But
Yeah.
this is very, very exciting. We love having experts in the chat listening to us ramble on about whatever the hell we're doing.
Oh, and we have Caleb Natala in the chat as well. Didn't realize that we had this new channel. We do. Welcome, Caleb.
Yes. Welcome to the VFX and Chill channel. And for those of you who are joining in on other places, Maxon Trinity YouTube channel, Maxon YouTube channel, etc. We are in the Red Giant YouTube channel. We're streaming to all of them, but the main bulk of the chat is happening over here on the VFX and Chill YouTube channel. If youtube.com/@VFX and Chill. That is the place where the main chat is happening. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff, so you get all this VFX goodness in your inbox. And Stefan, how am I need to know, am I pronouncing your, how is this name pronounced? Is it Stefan, Steven?
Yes.
Well, anyway, everything on the IMDb page is correct, that they say with a wink.
We did it. We confirmed it.
Made Guardians of the Galaxy on a laptop.
Oh, Guardians was so good.
My goodness.
Specifically
No, we're honored.
specifically 3.
Okay.
3 was, people don't talk about Guardians 3 enough.
Mm.
Okay, so Hashi, you're over there doing that, which is incredible.
Yeah, I feel like this is very visually not exciting what I'm doing.
Well, I'm
will
doing
be.
I'm doing a pretty what's seemingly straightforward. I'm ignoring the fire for right now and just focusing on mainly just like this kind of dynamic sky shot. And
Ooh,
what
nice.
I've started with is I've got a 360 sky panorama that is part of Andrew Kramer's Sky 360 or Sky Map 360 Sky Maps. I think it comes with the Sky Kit, the flight kit or whatever it is. Just because I had it on hand. I know for a fact we have 360 HDRs in the asset browser that I did in that trigger that we have in the asset browser. There we go. But for now, I just had this on hand, so I'm using this. But in After Effects, I am using our old favorite, Trapcode Horizon, which lets you... Oh, I just got rid of my FX control window. Lets me reference this sky map and then brings it in. Let me create a new camera and show everybody what I'm talking about. If I turn this camera off and now my camera in After Effects has this 360 background.
Ooh,
It's an old effect, but a good effect.
A
For
very
this
good effect.
sort of thing.
And the reason I got it is for the background. Oh no, I absolutely ruined my camera. Hang on a second. Oh, is because let's look at the reference. An interesting thing happens when you're especially like shots in the sky. Like so often the parallax you're looking for, the sky is huge and the sky needs to actually feel like vast, and those things are really far away. Parallax and like scaling doesn't necessarily happen very easily. And so you end up like, if I take this camera and I just pan it, only my foreground text is moving, but my background 360 map is not moving. And that's because it's representing this background and this horizon that's like so far off that panning isn't going to do anything. It's not going to make any dent. But if I pan around orientation, I guess what I was doing was tracking there, and now I'm panning. If I pan around like a point of interest, I move it around. Now you see that motion happen from the background. And so I parented the camera to a null and given it the orientation, specifically a wiggle parameter, and the position of wiggle parameter, just so that'll also show up on my foreground. So now and animated this moving up and down. And so you can see there's this really interesting look that's happening that makes the text look like it's closer to camera, and our sky is like significantly far away, so far away that it doesn't get that, like the actual any kind of like tracking or like lateral or up and down movement doesn't get noticed. Only the orientation stuff gets noticed. And that tricks your eye into thinking into giving this feeling that you're actually in this vast open sky. Was that a reasonable way of explaining this, or was it?
I think it was a good way to explain it. And our friend is having to go work on the movie now instead of watching us talking about it. But thanks so much for stopping by.
That's nonsense. No, I'm kidding. Please go make it. We're so excited for it.
We are. Oh my goodness. How cool.
Happy birthday, Hash. I got you I got you a VFX soup.
Oh, you did. That's so nice. All right. I'm curious if I try fracturing this truck by doing like an explode and connect situation, if
I love exploding and connecting.
it will look neat, or if I'm just going to overwhelm this. Sometimes just as a guess, yes.
Solid.
Sometimes it's if you need to destroy something like this truck, but you don't want to get into all that, because like this truck had a bunch of different little pieces. Let me show you. So the truck is sort of split into several pieces, like many models may be, but I threw them all into a connect object, and then once in the connect object, I just have this one truck, and it has a whole bunch of polygon tags and all of the materials laid out like that. And then if I put them in a fracture object, and I go to the fracture settings and switch it from straight to explode segments and connect, what that'll do is it'll basically try to look for connected pieces of geometry. And my guess was that they had not self-connected all of this stuff yet in the original model. And the fracture is proving me right. So if I press play, it's sort of like if you just, were selecting points and grabbing, yeah.
That's so good.
Look at that. So much better than anything that I would have tried to do, like starting with a base model.
Yeah,
and look at that, like even the little like bolts and
So really,
stuff fall off.
all you really need is just to give it some initial velocity, and then put something in front to stop it, and you're going to have it like automatically getting exactly what you need.
I kind of will, actually. And this is because right here, the dynamics are set to trigger immediately. If you didn't want them to do something like this, you could say on collision, and press play. I have no idea if the tolerance will still make them explode. Yeah. They're kind of overlapping, and so they're just trying to get out of each other's way. It's possible that if I went to the collider
tag and lower to the margin,
thickness and stuff like that, you could deal with it. But it does actually explode immediately. So I'm just going to deal with it. Let's go to the project settings. I'm going to switch it to 24 frames per second. And I'm going to go over to the simulation and switch this and the scene to maybe like a 0.25 time scale. That's probably not as slow as it really appears in the, or sorry, it's not slow enough for how it appears in the movie, but yeah, look at that. I just want to give it a bit of, of that kind of a feel. So
Rick LOL in the chat is saying, can we have Stanley be the replacement for the little girl, please? Flat Stanley.
Goodness gracious.
And Alonso Perez Yak6 says, we should have a drinking game where everybody drinks every time Rick LOL says Flat Stanley. And I have been.
I'm so drunk.
Stanley exist? I know there was those little Gumby style toys.
Look, I'm just going to be honest.
But
what is a Flat Stanley? I don't know what it is.
It's like a book about this I think, picture books about a character that's as flat as a piece of paper and gets into obviously the inspiration for that one X-Files episode or something. I don't know.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, but I just don't know if did he exist in some other medium that I don't know about?
The chat, apparently. Lisa Sari is enjoying your simulation. Hashi says, that's so cool. Your computer must be powerful. Hashi's computer is actually not.
Mine is it's a 2080 from, it's about 5 years old now, maybe 6.
I mean, it's still a good computer, but it's just an older computer.
Sure.
Ajmal Basil says I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Says it's crazy how you recreate movie shots just by looking at trailers every time. And I keep wondering where you get the ideas that this would work. I mean, it worked for them. So that's the thing. We're not coming up with the ideas. We're just coming up with the implementation.
Yeah, we don't.
That's a very, very good thing to know. If you're ever, if you're trying to learn, it is great to try to mimic other shots and stuff like that because a lot of the creative work is done for you. If you're creating from scratch, there's a whole lot more work that you need to do.
We have a quick little tip from our VFX supervisor in the chat. They says, by the way, what you see in the trailer for the shot of the truck destruction in-camera special effects for the gas tanks, smoke, and debris. It's a nice mixture of special effects and VFX. We like mixing things.
Yes.
That's killer. I love that. I had wondered about it, but I often these days, whenever I think something might be practical, it almost always is actually digital. So that's why I didn't want to speak up about it. But that's very, very cool. Man.
I mean, yeah, and I don't know if I know that Framestore does a lot of. James Gunn has worked with everybody, but I know that Framestore has done some really, really cool stuff. And I don't know who would have worked on individual shots in the trailer yet, but excited either way.
Very excited.
Okay, I'm just doing one of my... This is almost always how I set up a simulation, is I just get a sphere and give it a couple of keyframes of animation as a collider object, so I can just do something like this. Look at that. I am not displeased with this.
Weta did this shot, Hashi and Seth.
Oh, Weta.
Nice.
Never throw Weta under the bus.
It's Weta under the bridge.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to add some turbulence to the scene and turn the turbulence up. Let me see how much that does.
I need a quick reminder how random expression works in After Effects. Can I do amplitude in terms of how random it is, or
is this for individual things you want them to be in random places,
it's
or you want them to be
wiggling? Basically I'm duplicating a layer with fractal noise, and I want the evolution on it to be, or I guess I want the seed to be random on each one.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, never mind. But I can just do random and then parentheses, right? I don't have to put any, and it'll change it based on the index, right? Just like Wiggle does.
It should. And I think you can define how random, like between 0 and 1 or something like that.
Just by putting a number in to the
like random parenthesis 1 comma 3. Like it'll be a random number anywhere between 1 and 3 or whatever.
Ah, okay. Great. Thank you.
Oh, this is fun. This is wild because I need to play with right now I'm trying to play with the real dynamics of this truck being hit on the front and hopefully propelling that stuff back in this direction. I'm going to just move my keyframe in one frame, which should increase the speed by what? 33%? Oh, amazing. Okay. I'm going to grab specifically...
Oh, yikes.
This front part of the truck is bumming me out that it's flying so far. So let me see if I can separately deal with it. Or actually,
hey,
maybe I
Hashi.
could just put my sphere in a different spot. Yeah.
Darren Frankovitz is wondering, do you ever use custom initial velocity on your simulations to make things just start with motion?
Sometimes, but I prefer the actual impact because of the like dug that you get from it.
Pardon?
Like the pool balling. Like look at
Yes.
like this. Because there's some custom initial velocity I feel like is too well I'll demonstrate. I think that if I go into the collision settings, the dynamics, and say custom I'll do custom initial velocity like this. 1,000. Let's see. Actually, what is it doing? Let me turn off the sphere. I'm trying to think of what direction that in. Okay, so like that's whatever. I need to do it in Z. Right? Oh, negative Z. Come on. That does actually give it a kind of impacted feel. So there's another thing you could do without a stand-in object. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to switch back to my collider, but I'm going to make the first keyframe up higher, and then the second keyframe down and through the ground. I'm trying to catch this one piece, and granted, I could try to go in there.
So you could be king of the pirates?
Yes. Boom.
Oh, yes. That's happening. Hey, Ajmal Basil is asking, what really is important, GPU or CPU, RAM? What is it? Working for the past 6 years and I still can't figure out. Honestly, it depends on what you're doing. Simulations used to be much more important to have CPU, but now that Cinema 4D has a unified simulation system that works on the GPU, the better the GPU you have, the faster it's going to simulate, and the more you can simulate, especially pyro. In Cinema 4D, the larger your pyro sim goes, the more VRAM it eats up. So having more VRAM on your GPU is very helpful for that sort of thing. Now, of course, it's got ways to handle out of core, but still, it's much faster if you have enough VRAM. And of course, now that GPU-based renderers are kind of the de rigueur, it's much better to have a good GPU for those as well. Whether you're using Redshift or any of the other ones that are out there, having a good GPU for those is important. But a lot of things are also still CPU-based, especially if you're working in After Effects. There's a lot of things that you just need a decent CPU for. And of course, you want at least 64 gigabytes of RAM, I would say, if you're working in After Effects. So, it's just a balancing act. You get the focus, find out what your main focus is going to be. If it's on simulations in Cinema 4D, then probably a GPU is a good thing to get. If it's on rendering, you really need to focus more on GPU. But if you're just kind of looking for a general workhorse machine, you might need to back down a little bit on the GPU so you can get more RAM or a better CPU. And of course, you're going to want to get some really fast solid-state drives as well for caching and After Effects and that sort of thing.
Let's see. I am diving into the asset browser. I'm going to import.
It waited till you started talking.
Actually, no, I don't like that. I'm going to import. Let me try this one.
Justin is asking, can Mike go one episode without quoting One Piece? No.
Okay.
Hey, what's real quick? What's the expression for basically making it a wow? What am I looking for? A positive integer, never negative.
Absolute value. Math.abs.
Thank you very much.
We've got this baby angel.
I love the baby angel.
All right. I'm just going to connect and delete here. And I got the rig. Wait, so how are they doing this? Controls, there we go. Okay, we're going to connect and delete. Okay,
Oh,
so
hey,
now I've got this
there's
cartoony boy.
Jamie Hashimoto in the chat is saying, happy birthday, Hashi. So happy birthday
Thank
from
you,
Jamie.
Jamie.
Lisa says that research is ongoing for the best computer because Lisa's thinking about getting a new computer. I will say, if you're doing research on what computer is going to be best, look at Puget Systems website. I'm not saying buy a Puget system, although you probably should. They're great. But they've got research that they just give out for free that they've been doing on After Effects and Cinema 4D and GPU renderers like Redshift. And they say specific, like they put same computer, but then swap out the GPUs, and they do all these tests, and they can tell. So if you do research, just looking at their white pages, you can find out exactly what CPU is best for certain tasks, what GPU is best, what kind of RAM. Like they've done all the testing for you because they've got all these computer parts around. And so even if you don't buy from them, but again, you probably should because they're great. But even if you don't buy from them, they're a great place to go to learn more about what computers actually do in real world projects. Regular old benchmarking is fine, but they test with real world projects in the software that we use every day, Premiere Pro, After Effects, Cinema 4D, and they can tell you just from looking at their site what's going to be best for you. So highly recommend Puget Systems.
What kind of bear is best? Never mind.
False.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Rick LOL is trying to get me drunk in the chat.
Good.
What did I do?
Drunk on my horchata.
Why?
What are you trying
Okay.
to do, Hashi? Sorry.
I know I went
Too
off
much
on
is happening in
this
the chat.
weird tangent. I am grabbing this character to put over in my truck setup here.
Is that boy stand in for Superman?
This boy is about to become Flat Stanley.
Gotta,
What am I
you
doing?
gotta stay stronger. You can't give in to them so easily.
It won't paste. Flat Stanley won't paste into here. So never mind. Okay, we're just going to quickly go back to this for a second. Simulation tags, we're going to do a collider there on this object. And we're just going to play around a little bit with how we have to hit these oxygen tanks to make them dangerous. You know what this looks like? Deep Pull is the Rabbit in Your Headlights music video right now. Anyone?
I actually don't know that one. What's that?
It's let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Neat little I knew it wasn't Radiohead. Tom York.
Go poopies.
And let me see. I'll try to one of those like silly concept. A guy is walking down this tunnel, but it's very dangerous because there's all these cars there, so you're very worried about him the whole time. And then, spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
I have not seen that one. But you did reference no
Oh, that
surprises.
cut well.
You did reference no surprises a couple weeks ago on something, and we're like, you're
Oh, in
probably
the,
too young to know that reference. And I was like, go to hell. I absolutely know no surprises.
I didn't know if you knew Radiohead the way that
The way that you know Radiohead.
the way that I do.
Hey Hashi, if you want the tanks to have to be a little bit different, you can add custom mass to them so that they're heavier if you would rather like them to, or lighter, depending on how you want them to fly in your scene.
Wait, what did I just do to the tires? Come back, tires. It's something. The tires disappeared. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I could make the truck heavier and them lighter.
Depending on how you want them to fly, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
It's
good
something
point.
that a lot of people overlook in simulation stuff is they just, I mean, I know you know this, but it's important to get some varied mass on stuff, because Cinema 4D kind of gives it a mass based on its size and whatever, but some
Yeah,
things
like look
the
at
same
that.
size
Just
are heavier than others.
Making the
Yeah.
truck heavier than the tanks already gives them just this crazy amount of lift like that. That's an insane amount of force. All right, I'm gonna spread out my collider by one more frame. Just the keyframe down at the bottom. I'm just dragging it wider. It's actually behind Alonso's quote right there.
So look at that.
Okay, I'm getting too much lift. What if it went upward? Does that send it forward? There we go.
Yes.
Okay, finally have the... All right, I'm going to make the oxygen tanks just a little bit heavier. Let's try a custom density of like 2.1 on them. Okay, that still flies them
Oh, excuse
good
me.
amount.
Michael Palak says probably krypton gas in those tanks. Nice. Ajmal is
Check it out.
asking, how would you stop, or Ahmal is asking, how would you stop those tires from sinking into the ground, Hashi?
Oh, that is a silly little error. It may be because they're actually already through the ground. Yep. And that one of the things that I could have done ahead of time is if I had grabbed the truck here with the dynamic place tool, I could grab it like this and then set it on the ground. Wait. Oh, does it not want to because of my fracture?
Yeah,
Settings.
probably.
Oh, there we go. Move the fracture object. Okay. See if I just click it like this? Watch. See the truck just adjusted itself a teeny bit? That should put it above the ground. The second thing that might be happening is there's so much velocity from this that the refresh rate for the simulation might be getting in the way. So let me play and see if stuff still sinks through the ground. Actually, that dynamic place solved a lot of it. And I can peek under the ground. So yeah, I still do have stuff going down under the ground with this. So what I could do is I can go
How many
Control D
divisions
to my
are on your
project
ground, Hashi?
simulation. Say it again.
How much?
You know what? I bet there's
how many
not very
polygons?
many.
You
I think this is
probably
the
need more
default
polygons.
plane.
Oh yeah, you need.
Plane. Let's turn this up to 64. You want to go as low as you can get away with. I'm also
Probably
going
off
to
the
go
dynamic
to
place
my
tool, by the way.
What did I say?
I said get off the dynamic place tool, by the way, because every time you mouse
Oh,
over the
gosh,
thing,
thank
it's
you.
starting to.
All right, so I'm going to go back to my project settings simulation. Right now there are 20 sub-steps and 2 passes for collisions. If I turned up the sub-steps to more, I'll probably get more accurate stuff staying above ground. There you go. And it didn't hurt the performance very much either, which is amazing. So let's slow down this collision sphere. Actually, maybe I could slow it down by adjusting keyframe 1 a little bit to be a little closer. That'll slow it down, right? Okay. Still too fast. Fine, I'll spread out the keyframes by 1 frame. I wasn't getting enough now, I'm getting way too much. Let's just go add some weight to both of these objects. We'll say the truck weighs 40 and the tanks weigh 10. Still a lot. I can't tell if I'm getting more when I increased the substeps. That would be weird, right?
Not necessarily. It could mean it's hitting it more heavily than before because it's contacting it correctly.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You know what? I'm going to go back because actually it's slower having more substeps and I don't really care. Okay, so those are going very high.
Don't forget to set the keyframe. Oh, you have auto keyframe turned on, don't you? Like a maniac.
I sure do. I'm a maniac in this way.
Can't handle it.
I do. You got to try it. All right.
I will say, for this kind of tweaky setup that you're doing right now, it does make sense, but it still frightens me.
This is a ridiculous amount of playing around with this. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm getting farther from my destiny instead of closer.
Well, meanwhile, I've got some fun cloud stuff.
Yeah, what are you up to?
So,
It's working on this one simulation.
Oh, look at
Sorry,
that.
everyone.
yeah, so this is really cool. I did not expect to make the foreground clouds this way, but I really like how they're coming out.
Whoa.
So I was going to find just some stock like mist and put that in the foreground because I thought that would be really cool. But then I realized like I could kind of procedurally make this. And so what I have is, let me find one of these and just turn all the layers off. So I've got, what? Close? No, here we go.
Save your project file, by the way.
I just did. So
Okay.
I've got just a solid layer that I've made 3D. I've got a mask on it with the feather turned up to like 322 here. And then I've got fractal noise turned on. And the first layer of fractal noise is scaled up really big. And the contrast is jacked up to like 242, right? And so just to give you like, this is what the default looks like. This is what I have it actually looking like. Then I do this unsharp mask, which was doing something earlier and now it's doing less. I may not actually need that on here. Unmult turned on just to give me just the white and not the, just the bright parts and not the dark parts. And then another layer of fractal noise, and this is the cloud texture. And what that's doing now is that is adding this cloudy fractal noise on top of, basically I have now a solid that is only these like white parts of the cloud. And it's putting the new fractal noise is now going on top of that. So I end up with these like natural, like kind of organic cloud shapes with the cloud like fractal noise on top of them. And so then, I've got my horizon sky, here in the background. I've got a camera moving up through all of this. So the trick here, first off, is I have on the opacity, I have an expression here that what it calculates the length between the comp camera and itself. And essentially it says if the length between the camera and itself is above 1,000, keep the opacity at 100. But once it dips below 1,000, then set the opacity to be the cam length times 0.1. So once the length, like basically as it gets closer to camera, once it's less than 1,000 between itself and camera, it will then start, the opacity will then equal the length, but obviously divided by 10. So it goes from 100 to 0 instead of 1,000 to 0. And so what that does is that creates this organic, as it gets closer to camera, the opacity, it fades out, or at least it should. It doesn't seem to be doing that here as well. I'm not sure why, but here we go. So now it's not just like it's not just shutting off all of a sudden. It is fading out as it gets closer to camera. And then here is the fun part. So on each of these fractal noises, on the first one, I go to evolution options, or maybe I don't on this one. Let me see. It's just on the second one. I should do it on the first one too. I don't know how that happened. So on the fractal noise, I'm going to go to random seed, and I'm going to alt click on that timer. And then in here, I'm going to type seed random, and in parentheses, I'm going to put index. So it's using the index. I don't fully know how that part works. Timeless equals true. This is the most important part. And then random, and then like you said, Hash, I just did between 2 and 1,000, 1 and 2,000. Just randomly picked those numbers. And now, so you understand what seed random does, let me just turn that off real quick and just have it set to random. And you see, it's just like freaking out because that random seed is changing with every frame. So if I put that seed random expression before it, and especially with the timeless equals true, now it stays, it doesn't change across every frame. Now, I added these expressions so I can then take and just duplicate the fractal layer, push it off further,
move it up in space,
and you have
a completely different cloud.
Exactly. Nice. You know what? I think
I will say you could simplify your random expression down to one word.
Index. You are totally right. Holy crap. I'm an idiot. Thank you, Michael.
Because this is it's a random seed, so it doesn't matter how close or how far away from one number to another is. It's going to be a different random seed feeding the algorithm, or whatever.
You're totally
the equation.
Right.
So it could be 1 to 2 is going to be as different as 1 to 1,000. But
you're absolutely right.
Some good tips there on using seed random, because sometimes people want to use randomness that's not index based or for values that aren't as off as this is, and would need to have random numbers between here and there, and knowing how to keep it from animating is a very good tip. So not a useless thing to have done.
Totally. So there you go. And I basically just duplicated these clouds like a million times.
You know what's going to look awesome is blur behind.
Oh, 100%. Once I start comping this stuff, it's going to start looking really cool.
Yeah.
So it's
going to look amazing. Like, it already looks good.
Yeah.
It's going to look amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So now I just got to add a Superman into here and fly with him, and then add, my lens flare, which the lens flare is going to get tricky because it's going to have to use multiple clouds of obscuration. That's tricky. I'm going to have to figure that out.
That's solvable. I bet if you even just had it on random, your eyes would just believe that it was proper.
You will believe that a lens flare is operating accurately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. All right. I'm going to keep working. Actually, I think we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
I hope that's not a hostage.
Oh, we need to change that. It's at 11.
Oh, that's old. Yeah. Sorry, we're at 11 now. And you all know because you're watching. Welcome back. We're doing Superman
Welcome back,
stuff.
everybody.
We're doing Superman stuff on our Superman's birthday. Superman equals Hashi. Hashi, where are you at? What are you doing?
I am creating this little cube right here.
Good job.
And it's very, very cute. This cube is so that I can set this cube on fire. I'm actually going to make the cube invisible. But
how many more times can you
hoping,
say cube?
I can say it 2 more times. So the cube is going to emit some pyro.
I'm glad you paused for pyro.
And what that's going to do is create a little bit of extra when this truck bursts apart. Now, earlier I had it, instead of on the cube, I had it on the truck, and I actually might like that better. It was kind of interesting this way. So let me, I'm going to go to my object and change the voxel size to 5, just so it's not a super difficult thing for it to calculate. But right now, the truck pieces right at the beginning generate some dust that I thought might look cool. But the dust is not really moving with the, like, getting stuck on the pieces the way I was hoping that it would. It's sort of just getting parted by them. So maybe this isn't the best thought out idea. I could maybe have the oxygen tanks also emit some pyro that is set at a low temperature, like 1000.
Or 0 and just go density if you don't want fire. You just need smoke or vapor, I guess.
Oh, really? I was always
I mean, depends what you're after.
Well, look how much that looks like those nuclear test blasts. Like when a house shakes or something and all the dust shakes off of it. Okay, I'm going to add in some wind forces. Wind. This is just for the pyro.
I was gonna find a Superman image to just to use, but I'm actually gonna make myself the person flying, and I have an idea on how to capture that. So I'm gonna mute myself and go over here and take stupid pictures of myself while you work. So
Incredible.
Yell if you need anything.
It's stupid. All of it.
Amen. By the way, speaking of Harrison Ford, have you guys watched Shrinking? Have you recommended Shrinking to me?
I have not, I've only watched a bit of Shrinking.
I watched 3 episodes last night. I was like, I'll try this. My brother's recommended it to me and spoken very highly of it. Other people have too. I in tears, dude. It's so good, and it's the best writing anyone's done for Harrison Ford in maybe his career. Like, honestly, it's the most fun I've ever seen Harrison Ford having, and he's so good in it. I cannot recommend enough just for his performance alone.
I mean, it is an Apple TV show, so it kind of is a given that it's going to be good. But to hear that it's that good is nice.
Sure, yeah, but it has all the Ted Lasso writers and such, obviously, and it's just cast is amazing. Holy crap, Hosh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I like how you're like, yeah, Shrinking's cool, but look at this.
Have you tried exploding a truck?
We should pitch an Apple TV series that is also like an emotionally intelligent series like Shrinking, but call it Exploding.
Yes.
Nailed it. I'm going to go film something.
Oh, hey, Seth, before you go take your pictures, Michael Palak has a very good suggestion that you need to take off your glasses first, because otherwise it would be Clark Kent flying, and that can never happen.
Listen, I have something very important to tell you. Oh, wait, I don't know how to respond. Never mind. Damn it. I rearranged my drops, and I can't find them anymore. I did it 2 weeks ago thinking this is going to be so nice, and then I've forgotten how I did it. Anyway, Paulek, consistent as always. Love you. Here I go.
All right, wind. I'm going to turn up this wind more. Is this enough time? I know we're an hour 15 into the show. I don't know how much more people are interested even in this.
I mean, I think we'd like to see you get it more completed.
Yeah.
Like you've already got stuff flying. You're gonna have the dust. You're gonna have the smoke and stuff. Next, you need a particle system to have all the little debris that you're gonna clone. Simple geo shapes onto.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn off.
You're so close to there.
Thank you. I'm turning off my smoke for a second, just because I want to just watch the sim happen properly.
Oh, that's so good.
Excellent. So let's see. Let me see if I add a little bit more turbulence, if that makes it too wacky. Not bad. Let me try playing with the scale of the turbulence. This is good, but not enough just straightforward motion with the tanks, because it's really such an outward motion in the trailer, or lateral movement, right?
Very lateral, yes. They're all moving.
There's almost no lift.
Oh,
a
boy.
lot of lift I'm probably getting because of the... How did the shoot go?
I have... Give me a second.
All right, I've added some frames just so I can let these get a little bit further. Oh, yeah, that turbulence is doing way too much now.
Indeed.
Okay, fine. No turbulence, just straight up dynamics. Oh, man, look at that. Look at the drag catching up with all of them. Okay, so let's go to my simulation scene here. Damping is at 2%. Could I go to the objects independently and say, so they're already excluding the wind, and let's turn down the density a little bit.
Michael Pollack wants the tanks to be heavier so they come down a little bit more and hit. Now, keeping in mind, you can also add forces that are specifically on certain things, like you could make extra gravity on the tanks or on the truck or on anything and have it only affect certain things in your simulation.
This is true.
And Josiah is pointing out very specifically that the tanks have to hit the dummy. And yes, they have to hit the dummy.
I agree.
That's one of the coolest parts of that shot.
Okay, I have something to report how my shoot went. Okay, first off, here's the footage that I took my camera, I put it on the wide angle, and nope, that's not going to work like I thought it would. Yeah, I haven't really watched it. That's what I have, and that's not very good.
Wait a second. Wait a tick.
Why?
I can't understand what's happening.
For those of you who can't hear that sound, Hashi just took a screenshot of the Skype window, so he's now has this image.
How do I keep doing that? I don't think I'm even clicked into that.
But okay, so I took my phone, put it on a wide angle, put it on the ground, and then jumped off a table and jumped over it. Now, I'm too close to the camera. It looks like I'm up close with a wide angle lens. It's not lit. It's a horrible, this isn't going to work, right? But more importantly, I'm now going to show you footage from my Ring camera of how that jump actually went.
I love this.
I didn't think this through. Okay? All right, so here I am.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to get my table.
All right, you Google Street View location finders. Congratulations. You know where Seth lives.
I put my phone on the ground, and here we go.
Send drinks.
Jump.
Oh, look at that.
My knees immediately gave out.
That was a reasonably successful skater roll, though.
And now I am absolutely humiliated.
That isn't amazing.
So there we go. I got to figure out another way to do this. Oh, I know. No one said it had to be me. I'm going to make it a toy.
You got a VeggieTales figure over there somewhere?
Well, I've got Jay from Men in Black, who already has like he looks like he's flying through the air anyway. He's got his tie like flying all over the place. I've also got Steven Spielberg. Who wants to see
good
Will
question.
Smith, and who wants to see Steven Spielberg I think
Vote
I've
in the
answered it.
chat. And while you're thinking about it, Michael Powell, Justin Leduc says, Michael Powell, I'm gonna miss you during the holidays, bro. Too bad there's no other medium for us to stay in touch aside from this weekly stream chat. And yes, that's correct. Sadly, you none of you will be able to talk to each other for a couple of weeks because
Aw.
we are taking
Are you
some
guys
holiday
friends?
time off.
Are you guys friends outside of our show?
No,
That's so
they only
sweet.
chat in our show. That's the problem.
Oh, we are the connecting.
Yeah, Michael says he's going to write to him in long Civil War era prose.
Yeah.
Which is going to be lovely. Oh, I should also say that there is some sympathy for you in the chat. Lisa is hoping that you're okay, Seth. And Tyler Adams says, R.I.P. knees. And Lisa's saying, do you have your own crypto dog who could pull you to savings? And Amy K says, it was a Hancock landing.
It really was.
And,
it hurts so much. I was like, oh, my knees weren't ready for this, and I'm falling to the pavement now. I'm still hurting, by the way.
Ahmal says,
What was that? I missed that one.
Oh, he says it's why we shouldn't go outside.
It's true. It's true. Stay indoors
It's
at all
true.
times.
Now, I should say, Bill has a very good suggestion. Bill Hood says, would dropping your phone give the perspective of you flying past it? Now, it would, but the problem is he wants the bottom of his feet. So, yes, you get perspective of flying
And I
past
don't
it. You
want
wouldn't
the
get the
bottom
actual
of my
bottom
feet.
part.
And I don't want the bottom of my feet to be so close. Like, because you end up getting that, like, Beastie Boys video look where you're just like the closer you are to the wide angle. Yes, it's true, Glenn. The closer you are to the closer you are to the thing, the lens, you end up, I'm just distracted by terrible jokes. My brain is a terrible place to be. You get that weird warpy look. And that's what happens with having my feet there, so I've got to figure out. I think Spielberg is the right way to go. That, or we can do the James Gunn reference and we can have Star-Lord.
Let's see, Spielberg from Nick Smith, Spielberg from Mr. Keyframes. Andy Whiteblack says Will Smith has already experienced doing Hancock, so they think Will Smith is better for the job. I would argue that it's Spielberg's turn by that argument. And Tyler Adams says Will slapped a dude, but Stevens shot a Triceratops allegedly. So there's chances either way.
We don't know how he killed it.
Hey,
we don't know how he killed the Triceratops. We just know that he did.
It's dead.
Yeah, that it's dead.
Mr. Keyframes is also saying, hey, can you kick up the ladder if Maxon could do some kind of holiday sale? No, because that means we have to do extra work, and we are planning to take a break for the holidays. So no, there already was one. Go away. No, Maxon had a Cyber Week sale for Maxon 1 and Redshift and ZBrush. So if you didn't hop on it at the Cyber Week, sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. You could upgrade the Cinema 4D that comes with After Effects for free. I think the sales team can get you a discount for upgrading the Cinema 4D that comes with After Effects into the full-blown one or into Maxon 1 subscription. So there's that possibility for you. And of course, if you're a student or a teacher, you have a massive discount available for you. And if your school has laboratory licenses, you can also get free at-home licenses through your school because your school gets licenses to give you when they buy laboratory licenses for Cinema 4D or Maxon 1 tools. So there you go.
That's some good info.
Speaking of all the simulation stuff, Josiah is asking, why are we trying to base real-world physics on a man who can fly? Because you're supposed to believe that a man.
Yeah, the promise is that we'll believe it.
It's true.
I don't think anyone in our audience gets that reference.
If you get that reference,
if you get
someone
can believe a man can fly.
The statistically speaking thing, so that's not bad.
Hey, we got some studios in the chat. Road Studios Productions is saying hello, and so is Superstar Mario Plush Films. So hello to all of you. I know we've got some folks watching from all kinds of places today. We've already had some folks hollering out their locations in the chat. We got some Oregon going on, and Darren Frankovitz is watching us from Bad Homburg in Germany. So hey, if you're watching, feel free to shout out where you're watching from in the chat. It's always fun for us to see where folks are watching our show at, because we're already in multiple countries. I am in the oddball swamp country of Florida right now. We're come down here for the winter to avoid the cold that Seth is currently experiencing in the Nashville, Tennessee area. And speaking of cold, Hashi is streaming to us from the frozen north of Canada.
Yes.
Although
Over here in Prince Edward Island.
I was gonna say you're on an island, so you probably get more mild weather than Seth is getting because he's very, very inland.
We do get mild weather. We get the warm Atlantic current, which is kind of cool. So it's like warmer water than it is like in New York, for example.
That is cool.
It is pretty nice. But yeah, this morning, I know that Seth got injured trying to film a Superman plate for us. Someone got a flat tire in front of our house, and they were having trouble with it, so I helped them change a tire, and my gosh, I'm not as young as I used to be at like trying to like impressively back up the car and swap a thing out.
Pick up the car with one arm.
Happy birthday. You're old now.
Heck yeah.
We've got Tri-Rete Productions is watching us from snowy Chicago. Lisa Seri is from Seattle now, watching from Seattle, Washington, but was born in Peru. Hey, you're just up the state from Red Giant offices in Portland. Ahmal Basil says they're watching from India, and it's currently 2 a.m. Happy Saturday morning to you, Ahmal. Amy Kay is from rainy South Africa. So, hey, it's heading into summertime for you here shortly. Brian Smith is in San Rafael, California right now as a transplant from Seattle. Tyler Adams is watching from Sacramento, California. We got a few California folks watching. Hello, all of you. Thank you for watching.
Okay, I hate the way this truck keeps on flying off. So I split the geometry from it so I could add more weight to it. I've also added a connect tag, and I'm going to turn up the search radius and have it do this. When I press create, it's going to look for points on dynamic objects near it and basically scotch tape them together. This is a little bit silly, and I'm going to turn up the stretchiness on them. But what I'm hoping that'll do is it'll turn the front of the car into like one mass stuck together, and then the back piece.
We're not seeing. Sorry, we're not seeing the screen. Now we are.
Oh, whoops!
I'm so sorry. My fault.
It's okay.
Yeah, Darren was calling that out in the chat.
Thank you. So I split off the geometry for the front of this cab because it's so distinct and it keeps on hurting the shot. So I split the geometry, which made it its own object here, and then I added a connector tag to it. And the connector tag, you can dial up the search radius, check other objects, and then say create. So it's basically kind of taping itself to all those pieces like that. So what I'm hoping, and I know this might slow down my sim a little bit, but that these will all be sort of connected as if there were, like, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll experiment.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with experimentation after this.
Only an act of true love can save me. You said you did. Love is an open door.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone.
It's Superman Day.
So yeah, we were here and going to try some experimenting with connecting the cab to some of the other parts.
Yes, that's much better. Mr. Keyframes is watching from New York City. Ron Morrison is watching us from London. And Alonso Perez Yaksik says it's hot in Santiago, Chile.
Oh, my goodness.
And Hashi, that is looking much, much better.
Yeah, I like this better. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got this now. At some point, once I like the oxygen tank flying enough, then we'll have to cache this out. Oh, they're going so high, though.
You might need a bit more mass on them, so they come down some. Michael Pawlak is writing his Civil War era letter to Justin in the chat. My dearest, it has been a fortnight since our last stream. I reminisce of your jocularity in the VFX and Chile chat. Until we speak again, know you are ever in my thoughts. And Justin writes back, my dearest Michael, no way, samesies, LOL. So there you go.
That's fantastic. Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong.
And Brian Smith says today they retire from their day jobs so they have more time to learn Cinema 4D. That sounds like a very, very good use of time because I love playing with Cinema 4D.
Oh, like look at this stuff. Look at the way the bumper is hanging by a connector onto the front of the
connectors make things so good.
Look at that. So yeah, like these tires and this geometry right here is sort of clinging to the truck. Watch when it lands. You'll probably see everything flap on it. Boom. Chink.
Oh, look at it.
Beautiful. And even though there's no like physical thing connecting them, just when you see the motion, it makes sense in your head, you know?
Yeah.
I should have been caching that. I wasn't. And okay, fine. I'll cache this next one. I'm moving this up a little bit, and I'm going to increase the mass just a little bit more. I guess I'm doing density, aren't I? Okay, what if I did, the truck, let's say it weighs 50, and we'll say the tanks weigh 25. And we'll just try caching the scene in case it turns out good.
And while you simulation. I'm going to say hi to Road Studios Productions, who is in Florida. So hello, neighbor. Thomas Thant is asking, what software is this? That's a good question, Thomas. We are currently working in Cinema 4D. Hashi is currently, and Seth is working in After Effects using probably Red Giant tools shortly to comp his shot. We've got half an hour left in our show, so I'm sure he'll be moving to compositing shortly. Probably using Super Comp, if I were to guess. I said me. Seth, there we go.
Oh, you know what that sound is? What's happening? It's people trying to fish me and hack me on Skype.
Oh, I had a couple of those today too.
I keep getting added to it's so stupid.
Yeah, those crypto groups. Yeah. Hashi Ahmal is asking, would adding a plane slightly angled above the gas tanks help it shoot straight instead of bursting in the sky? Yes, it would.
It would.
That's a simple and easy way to do it, but I think Hashi's wanting to be able to get the whole shot the whole shot happening without watching them bounce off an invisible plane in the sky. Plus, invisible planes are Wonder Woman's thing, not Superman's.
So I realized that what I was doing before was I was adjusting the density of the objects instead of switching it over to mass, and so I was getting so all of my adjusting was doing very little. Okay, I set them both back to 1 just to see what they do at 1. Okay. That's what they do at 1. So let's go to the mass for the truck. Tell the truck to be a mass of about 4, and the oxygen tanks to be a mass of 0.9. Then we'll go to the cache, clear with scene cache.
Yes. Now, while you're running that cache, Darren Frankovitz is suggesting that perhaps a gravity object that's only on the tanks might be more directable than mass density, which I think is something that we can certainly try doing. Tyler Adams is saying, "Give me the cache." Assassin is saying, "Where do you recommend to learn compositing and 3D work?" Well, those are two very, very different worlds, but they collide together in a lot of motion design and VFX occasionally. Well, you can learn a lot of compositing stuff on the Red Giant YouTube channel and a lot of 3D stuff on the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel. And of course, on Cineversity. If you go to maxon.net, there's a little Learn tab right up at the top, and there's got Cineversity on there. So if you want to learn Cinema 4D. There's a whole getting started in Cinema 4D series there, which is a great foundation for how to work in Cinema 4D to start off in your 3D work. And of course, VFX and Chill, we mostly fuss around and have fun, but we do try to include some very useful nuggets of goodness in them. I always tell people, especially if you've got Maxon 1 or Red Giant tools, and you do any kind of VFX work and VFX compositing type stuff, watch the Getting Started in Supercomp video by Stu Maschwitz and its follow-up. And the follow-up video that's linked in the description below it. The reason I do is because not only, sure, it's a good intro to that, one of my most favorite tools that Red Giant makes, but in the midst of him kind of walking through what it is, he gives you a lot of very useful information behind and why you want to do certain compositing tasks. So it's a really good thing. Just it's a little long. Because it should be, but it's a good way to kind of get to grips with how it works and why you need to do it. He explains why you want to light wrap in the first place. So it's a very good video to watch for anyone, but especially if you've got Red Giant tools. And the link for that video is in the chat. Ron Morrison is asking, question, has anyone ever put any experiments and tests in a show reel? Yes, lots of people do. It's a good way to show that you have skills that you might not have been paid to do yet. Anytime you're making a show reel, think, what kind of work do I want to be doing? And that is work that's in your show reel. This is what you can do. And if you don't want to do explainers, don't put explainers in your show reel, because then people will be like, oh, they do explainers. Put in there what you want to do. And if you love doing explainers, probably shouldn't put VFX in there. Put explainers in there. Put what you want people to hire you for in your show reel. Oh, and Hashi, Darren points out that gravity has directional control, so it's more than just a force pulling down. It's force pulling any direction you want it to pull in.
Oh, really? So I could add a gravity object. I'll go to my truck and leave that alone. I'm going to clear the cache on everything.
Clear the cat.
I'm going to go to forces.
Lisa's saying that it is really coming along, Hashi. She says it looks a lot more like the style of Superman trailer now.
Thank you very much. All right, so I've now I've disabled gravity from affecting the truck group, and I'm going over to the cloner group, which I'll just call the tanks group, and I'll call this the truck group, so I can kind of do that. I'll also tell this part of the truck to not use this gravity. And then I will go to my tanks and I'll tell them that they can use, okay, it's an equivalent amount of gravity, 981 centimeters, but I can rotate it.
That's what Mr. Frankovich says.
Let's see it. Ooh. Oh, I forgot I was on my keyframed camera. I was like, wow, I'm getting this dynamic. Yes, now we're getting the bottoms of them to flip forward to be the thing headed toward camera.
Boom. Now I will say you can also set the mass to be weighted to a direction on your model as well. So you can make it heavier at the bottom versus the top, which is very useful for some things. Just as a note for anyone who's doing simulations in the future. That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
They're not flying past him now, though. They're falling right down next to him.
Probably wasn't caching, was I? Man, come on, Hash.
Well, it gives you a chance to adjust things. Michael Palick wants you to rotate them the other way. And while you're working on that, Hashi, Seth, do you have anything to work on? Ahmal is asking if you've got anything happening on your screen we can see.
Well, I'm trying to think of how to solve the problem of...
Maria?
The problem of him, like, when he crosses through the clouds, it's just this solid... Like, I can't create any fall off between him. Like, it's just such a hard... like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no fade between when he goes through a cloud.
Because
because
I mean,
he's
he
a truly
is
volumetric
relatively
cloud.
small, so like.
But he is also moving relatively fast, so like my brain is not seeing that as fine because he's passing through multiple layers of cloud, so it's actually working visually when you've got it going fast enough. Some motion blur might sell it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I might be able to get it there. You're right. And then I have a question. This sonic boom layer I found on Production Crate, would that go in front of him or behind him?
Yes, in front. A sonic boom happens when...
You're saying it should go under him?
Like, it should be...
Let me rephrase.
So a sonic boom is on the it's on the front.
That's what I thought.
Sonic boom is on the nose of
the
an
way
aircraft.
fast enough.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yes,
so it's in the right place.
You're seeing the compression of the air. So you're not seeing the sonic boom, but you're seeing a visual representation of a visual phenomena that happens when the sonic boom is also happening.
Okay, that makes sense. Great.
But hey, good question. Anna again points out anyone who's doing visual effects shots, if you're trying to do anything that's realistic, learn and ideally look at references of the phenomena you're trying to. Now, a man flying, sure, you're not going to get a very good reference of that, but planes flying.
Yeah, plane flying
go
for
about
sure.
the same
I just
speed.
don't have time at the moment. I'm going to wrap this up before the show.
I know. I'm just telling people that it's a tip for the other, like looking at reference of things is a good way to make sure that your VFX ends up being more realistic. And you're getting some very positive comments in the chat from folks who are liking it. It's so cool and it's effective visually as the toy flies up. At least it was apparently in the Air Force planes. They couldn't answer that question.
What was that?
Lisa was in the Air Force, but didn't get to fly any of the planes, so she
Nice.
couldn't give a solid answer to that question.
All right, I'm going to start trying to comp this. So this is Superman.
Tyler says if you put the gaseous explosion below him, it looks like he's being propelled by a hearty fart.
Yes, it absolutely does. I thought that too.
Thank you, Tyler, for the term hearty fart. I will be using that later.
Hearty fart. This one's close.
Right. Oh, that's why.
We've got 20 minutes left.
Mode.
And Josiah says it's amazing, Seth, with a very happy starry-eyed emoji.
Thank you.
Or hard-eyed, can't tell. Tiny screen. I don't have, young person eyes.
Oh. Wait, that would make this closer. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong ones. So that's far away, or is it? Oh, okay. On the Y, it's going to be negative. It's going to be far away. I just don't know why my brain is thinking the opposite. I think I've got these ordered now. Close, kind of close, not close, kind of far. Far, perfect. I'm just going to pre-comp all of these. And because they're 3D, and I have to introduce super comp. I have to pre-comp them and then hit this little guy right here that's collapse transformations. That way,
you don't have to do them individually. You could do them all at once, Seth.
But don't I want to comp them like? Don't I want to comp them all separately? Because I don't want one to blur. Then I guess I don't need to do that. You're right.
Because when the collapse transformation works, you're not going to have any cloud in front of him until he's passed through it visually.
You're totally right.
So the blurring behind won't happen until he's passed through it. It's a very clever, it's a neat, clever workaround.
Now I'm going to duplicate the camera, and I'm going to take since I have those expressions, I'm going to have the original. Actually, what I need to do is duplicate the camera, and it's null. Oh shoot, there was a wiggle parameter on it. Okay, this is where it gets tricky.
Now this is where you put seed, random, and a number before the wiggle. That way it will always be the same wiggle.
Oh, here we go.
Just seed random 1, for example.
Okay. Smart. Seed random 1, and then I'll do seed random 2 because why not? And now I'm going to duplicate these, and I'm actually going to keep the dupes in this comp. And I'm going to put the originals, I'm going to pre-comp them with the clouds, because the clouds are using those expressions with this original camera to make them fade out as they get closer to camera. So now I'm going to call this clouds. And motion and everything should still all match.
Now, Mala's asking if you could put a little hole or have the clouds kind of move as he passes through, which would be fairly simple to do with some liquify, but we are out of time for doing it now. But yes, you're correct. That would be a nice way to make it
I could also
look more
probably
realistic.
find like a... Ooh, there's a skull cloud on Production Crate? I didn't know that.
Gotta have your skull cloud.
That's exciting. I could probably do like a shockwave. They have a shockwave burst. I could use something like this, probably, but I don't really have time for it. So I'm going to, let's see, I've got, the clouds are, I don't need to collapse the clouds anymore, do I? Because, I want that because I want the internet. Well, no. Sorry. I don't need them because the camera's already in there. Okay. Horizon, clouds.
Michael Palak wants a little
Superman.
roll rotation on the guy, by the way.
A little rotation. Well, he's 2D, so it's gonna look 2D. You know what I will do? This could be fun.
But he's far enough away, just a little bit.
In fact, watch this. I'm tempted to do this, which is parent this camera to the camera. Oh, this is going to get too annoying and tricky. I'll just copy and paste. So what I think I'm going to do is, just to distract you from the fact that he doesn't rotate, is give the camera a little Z rotation. Let me see how this... Right? So then... Now that feels...
Yeah.
That distracts you. And now I have to copy that and paste that onto the camera in the clouds. Camera in the clouds. And now it all matches. All right. Now we take that, and that. The Superman clouds on the horizon.
Is he passing through the clouds anymore?
No, because reasons.
Okay.
Well, because I can collapse it and he will go through them, but I don't know if that'll translate into super comp.
It will, I think.
Nope, it did
Always
not.
has his last one. Ah, crap.
So, at least, well, maybe he will. If I put Superman below the clouds?
Yes.
Nope. It still didn't translate.
Gosh, dang it.
So what I can do...
Oh, yeah, because it Okay.
Yeah. So what I'll actually do is I'll just have two Supermen. We'll do Superman behind, Superman in front, Superman front. Superman front will go on top of the clouds.
Do a little classic split layer.
Yep.
Action.
Just have him go up here, and then we'll fade out Superman front here with this little guy. So now, there we go. So he's in front at the top, then he goes right through the clouds.
Perfect.
And I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to apply, I'm going to go into here and on, no, I'm going to do it in here. Motion blur doesn't come through super comp, so at least it's not now. RSMB I'm going to apply to both these Superman layers. Real smart motion blur. Okay. We're going to, I would bypass it, but it's the Superman episode, so we're just going to keep it. Now clouds. This is what we really wanted. I'm gonna start with a preset. Translucent.
Starting with the preset.
There's backlit smoke, too hard, blended mist, maybe dense mist, light.
These
smoke.
are all the subtitles to the, I think, like the Rambo films.
Yes, Rambo 2, blended mist. Now that's a little blurry for my taste, but it still feels pretty fun. Let me see.
Oh, yes, especially with that little shockwave in front of him. It looks. I'm liking this.
100 blur behind, I think. Light wrap, I don't think I want, to be completely honest. Haze, I'm going to turn off.
You want some haze. You want some haze, don't you?
I don't know. Like, it's getting rid of a lot of detail.
Like any
really
good slow jam mix.
Yeah.
Let me do 10% haze.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
And now, one extra thing I didn't do that is kind of fun that I like to do is let's do a new adjustment layer on top of everything. Call this shackle. Nope, shake. And I'm going to do universe camera shake, and I'm going to go in, choose a preset. And everyone on this show knows my favorite universe camera shake preset, which is loading slowly for some reason.
Car mount.
Probably because you're streaming.
Probably. Come on, give me car mount. There we go. Here we go. Car mount
is a good one.
Apply. And first thing I do is go to motion blur, set it to medium. And what car mount does is it gives me this vertical like jitterness that I'm going to increase to like 200. And we should end up with this really organic.
Yeah, that just adds just little subtleties to the
Yeah.
Little subtleties.
Oh, I love it.
I might go 75 on the frequency and just maybe 20. That's maybe too high for the way too high. Back to 10. And back to 60 for the frequency, to be honest. But yeah, in fact, I honestly think that shake needs to happen. I'm going to mess with the seed.
I was going to say, one of the really nice things about Universe Camera Shake is you can keyframe the strength so he gets stronger right when he's passing the camera and then kind of weakens.
Yeah,
which
I
is
know.
Nice.
I could, but I just like how this looks.
This looks so good.
Oh yeah, one more thing.
Because
it's looking great.
We need lens flare.
Oh yeah.
Let's just try. I mean, it's looking good as is, but let's see. Drop in real lens flares. Now, it's been a while since I've used this.
Okay.
I compared it to a light.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to do a 3D. Or
is the camera moving?
Camera's moving. So actually, here's what I suggest. I used to do this with null light factory all the time. So if you create a new null, let me see if I remember how I did it. But I have a null object. I'm going to make it 3D. I'm going to make another null object that's 3D and shift parented to the camera, so it's where the camera is. But then I'm going to turn it, but get rid of the. Let's see, what does it do? The idea is that it tracks the position, but not the orientation of the camera. Okay, so I think what I do is it's parented to a null, so I have to be tricky with this. Oh wait, I can just attach it to the no. Okay.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I parent it to the position of the camera. Hang on a second. So what I'm going to do is I want a null that is only going to, that's always going to, how do I say this? Because the camera's parented to a null, I have to parent it to world, not to, is this even going to work? I'm so sorry. I'm like going crazy.
No, I like this. This is obsessively great.
I think this null object, if I now parent this null object to this null object, what is it doing?
That's about right.
Yes, and it's not following the orientation. My goal is to make it. My goal is to make this null that I'm going to use for my flare to make it follow the sky, the 3D sky, and not like so that it's only responding to orientation and not to position of the camera. So it feels as far away as the sky does. And the hack that I've done for that in the past is to make a null that's going to be the source of my light, which I'm actually going to have to create no, I can parent that to comp.
I mean, honestly, like, wouldn't just moving it very far away?
Yes, but also no. Like, yes, it could, but I remember I had to do this on a space-related thing. It was the easiest thing this was the quickest way to do it for me, was to parent a null to the position of the camera, but not to the orientation. So it was always following the position of the camera, but not following the orientation. And then you take the 3D null and parent it to that thing so that the camera, whenever the camera would orient, it would move, the null would move, but if it moved position, it didn't. I know it's so abstract, it makes no sense, and I didn't do a good job of teaching it. This is a teaching podcast, or teaching show, but I did not teach anything just now because I don't even know if it worked. But let me see. If I go to Real Lens Flares now, I can actually just parent the 2D flare here to world, right? Oh no, wrong one. This is all backwards. I'm going to finish this and then ask how you're doing, Hash, so we can end on a good note. Parent to comp 0, 0, 0. And we turn it on. And we see how this looks. And then I'll mess with the flare itself.
If you want to check the motion, just throw it into draft mode first.
Oh, that's smart.
I didn't mean that. I mean your layer switch, but also that. For those who don't know, if you turn your layer that Real Lens Flares is on into draft mode, Real Lens Flares goes into a draft mode where it renders things a lot faster at the expense of visual fidelity, and it'll warn you about that. But it's a great way to make sure your motion is right in the shot. Now, one thing you haven't done yet, Seth, that I'm really looking forward to is setting your obscuration layer. That's the one I'm most looking forward to.
I know. Now let me see. Hang on. Okay, it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So, right? That looks...
Except for the sun is clearly a different part of the sky, but go ahead.
It's a different what?
Part of the sky, but go ahead. Assuming the clouds are lit so that's...
Assuming the clouds what?
We're lit so that the sun is over that location.
I know. So I can do a couple things for obscuration. I can use the clouds as obscuration, or I can use Superman as obscuration. So that's what the clouds.
Let's just do Superman, because that's going to be the most dramatic thing when he goes in front of it.
Well, he didn't. Didn't really do anything. Alpha.
Oh yeah, I have to have it on alpha. There you go.
I keep thinking it's playing. Oh yeah, so he
does.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So real quick, let's go in here and let's get I need a new sun. Not my actual son who just walked through the room, I think.
Your kid walks in and goes, "We need a new sun."
Glow ball, distant sun. Why not? Confirm.
And yes, folks, having the cape flap would be nicer and the arms moving. Yes, but again, this is a photo of a toy just to demonstrate the technique. Yes. If you're doing this in real life, easily done with the cape movement could be easily done with some cloth simulation in Cinema 4D, and the movement and the arms could easily be done with a quick little model in Mixamo. or whatnot. And again, you don't have to render it out of Redshift in Cinema 4D first. You could bring it into Cinema 4D, or from Cinema 4D into After Effects with Red Giant Geo, which is another little handy way to get your 3D stuff in there.
Excuse me?
Red Giant Geo.
Geo. That sounds better.
Geo. Red Giant Geo.
Man, it's been a while since I used this. I'm not sure what flare I really want. That one's kind of fun.
Yeah. That one's got like that lens dirt on it too, which is nice.
Yeah.
Again, reminder, folks, this schmutz on the lens is being driven not just by the flare, but you can also have it driven by your footage. So if you've got like a rocket blast going off that's a really bright bit, you can have that drive schmutz on your camera lens. Just add that little tiny touch of realism to a shot, which I really enjoy.
All right. Well, this was fun. Hash?
It's fun. And folks in the chat are enjoying the obstruction of the lens flare just for that second as he goes through it. It really does add to the feeling like those things are in the scene together.
Obstruction of the lens flare. God, we have such a good group of people.
Let's see. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to try to cache one more part of this simulation. Okay. It's at 20%.
I can see it on my end, and it's pretty funny.
Michael Palak says, "Can you have a toy lose its shoe and tumble towards the camera?" That would be hilarious.
That would be really fun
in a Superman movie. Hey, if James Gunn's listening later to this show and playback, can you make Superman lose a shoe at some point? Because that would be hilarious.
Pretty funny, James. You got to do it.
Lisa points out that superheroes don't wear shoes for just that reason. They usually wear their little boots.
The little boots.
Strap up.
Oh, boots, yeah. They got to strap up above the ankle, otherwise they're gone. All right. We're getting there at 95%. All right. I'm close this as the browser. Okay.
Lisa earlier said it's incredible how you went from the simple idea we saw in the trailer to making it look believable so fast. And Ahwal is saying, yes, that's the word I'm about. How do we even think, oh, that one's doable, and then just make it look incredible so fast? It's a lot of experience. Someone asked earlier, Seth, how long have you been using After Effects and doing this kind of stuff? And I think it's an interesting thing to point out that both you and Hashi have been doing this for quite a while.
I started in 2008 or 2009, and I've not been like trying to be an expert at this. I've been doing a lot of other things, and so that's why I'm still kind of perpetually at my like 2013 skill level in After Effects. But I will say what I'm getting at is I've learned 90% of what I know. I learned in like the first 2 years, or the first year even.
The rest of it is just
no one should be afraid.
Is asking. Yes. Yeah.
In fact, most of our learning journey is truly documented on this show. Not even joking.
Especially with Cinema 4D and Cinema 4D and Redshift and ZBrush, 100%.
Mr. K Famous is saying, for company parties, do we do a Red Giant Christmas party or Maxon Christmas party, or perhaps just a VFX and Chilla Christmas party? So what Maxon does is, because we are so spread out, they do office parties. So we've got offices in Portland, we've got offices in Southern California, Hollywood, LA. We've got offices in Germany and Japan and Canada. So each office does a party. It doesn't matter if you're working for Redshift or ZBrush or Red Giant or Forger or any of these things, Cinema 4D, just if you're in the office, you go around and hang out. Before we go, anybody has an OBS question they would like to ask, you can ask it. We'll see if they'll answer it. Dan Frankovitz wants Superman to vomit a little halfway up. That would add to the realism, that would be true. That would definitely add to the realism. Michael Palak, I could see my house from here. Superman, yes. We're ready to see Hashi simulation? Because I'm very excited to see this.
I'm excited to see it. Hashi, you ready yet?
Okay, so there was no element of danger before, so I've caved to the demands of the chat, and here we go.
The one person in the chat.
We have this poor child here who is about to be destroyed by these oxygen tanks. So here we go. Oh, he's a goner. Wait.
Oh, no. Oh, there's Superman. Oh, thank you, Superman. You're such a good job.
Yoink. Oh, render that now. That's so good, dude.
Oh, don't add any drag to the scene for that.
Don't change anything. I want you to render that exactly the way it is.
That's perfect.
Done. My goodness.
Oh, that's so freaking fun.
We have fun, don't we?
Golly, we do.
Goodness. Well, everyone, thank you for coming by another ridiculous episode of VFX and Chill. We are off for the next few weeks, and we'll return, I think, on January 10th. Was that what we put out?
Yes.
Or whatever the Friday around then is. Amazing. So I'll hope that if you've got holidays in your areas, that you enjoy the time, and feel free to watch any of our exciting old videos to figure out whatever other VFX thing you want to do.
Real quick, the OBS question. I don't really know why Video Ninja is freezing up for you. It freezes up for us a lot. I have all my drops in their own scene in OBS, and that drops scene is on the top stack of every single scene that we watch. So anytime I will use my Stream Deck to then trigger a drop to play in the drops scene, it will play across all the other scenes and on the front, no matter what, every time. So I'm not sure why it's freezing up the Ninja, but the Ninja is very fickle for me whenever we've tried to use it. So anyway, everybody, happy holidays. Hashi, happy birthday, pal. We love you, man.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, have an incredible holiday. We'll see you next year.